Hello everyone, this is Bernice from the Napping Mouse, and in today's video I want to create this album that you see using three binder rings, and I'm actually going to finish up using one of my paper pads that I have, and I only have a few sheets left, so I thought that this was a great project to not only use up the sheets itself but also the scraps that I have in order to create like a really beautiful journal. And what's great about this album is that you can actually remove any sheet that you want. You can decorate how you want it. If you need some more drying time, you can go ahead and do that. If you wanted to add more sheets, you can go ahead and do that also. And it doesn't even need to be from the paper scrap that you have. It can also be kind of like mix like a journal album from a 12 by 12 scrapbook paper with some junk journaling. So you have so many options with this one. It's very versatile, and that's why I am so excited to present this to you. Grab yourself your favorite drink and let's get crafting. Folks, so the supplies that you'll be needing is 12 sheets of 12 by 12 paper. I'll be using this vintage from DCWV. And then you'll also need 4 sheets of 8.5 by 11 paper. I'm using this is called paper bag. I still have got some of this in stock, and I'll leave the link down below. But any cardstock type would work as well. Okay, and then you need 2 Chipboard 7 by 9, and then 3 of these binder ring clips. Okay, and this one is 1 1/4, and you can get this at the Dollar Tree. A bone folder, a hole punch, and I also have some eyelets. I'm using the vintage style thicker eyelets like this. This is, I believe, the 3/16 or the 3/18. I always forget. But I'll have the correction on the screen there. Okay, you'll need 6 of these, and also your basics: your trimmer, your scoreboard, what else? Scissors, glue, that sort of stuff. Okay, all right, let's get started. Okay, folks, so I still have this paper pad here, and I wanted to go ahead and use it all up. So what I've done is I had like, I think, 13 or 14 sheets left of this. I decided to make an album, the 7 by 9 album. And the first thing that you're going to do is decide which one do you want to be the front cover and which one do you want to be the back cover. Okay, this is great, double-sided and all. I have already cut this out, and I like the front of this as well. So this is going to be my front, and this is going to be my back. And then also decide on your pages, okay? If your pages are not double-sided, it doesn't need to be for this project. This is okay if it's only single-sided, okay? But first, we're going to be working on our front page. Okay, so now the next thing that we're going to do is create the pages of this album. So go ahead and get your trimmer and get your paper here. And I've got my pages sheet here. If your page is directional, you turn it to the side, and what you're going to do is cut it at 9 inches. Okay, and you're going to repeat for all of the paper. Go ahead and set this aside, because later we'll be making pockets and side tucks and belly bands and all that kind of stuff. Okay, now that you've got all of your papers here, you'll get your scoreboard. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to take your paper over here and you are going to score it at 6 inches. Okay, and then go ahead and fold. Now the reason why I have you score it and not just, you know, fold it like this, because it does create a nice crease, like a nice sharp crease, instead of it being all jagged. If that doesn't bother you, that's fine. A lot of times we'll go ahead and ink the edges to make it even more vintage, okay? But so go ahead and prep that for all of your pages, and then we'll create the spine. Okay, so now for the spine, what you want to do is get your trimmer again, and then go ahead and get your 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and at the 11-inch side top, you are going to cut it at 2 inches. Oh, I don't even need to open that up. So we'll cut it that at 2 inches. Okay, this will be scrap. I'll set that aside for decorating, and then go ahead and turn it to the 8.5-inch top, and you will cut it at 2.5 2 times, and that should give you 3 strips. Okay, and there goes the third one. All right, and then this is scrap, so set that aside. And the next thing that you're going to do is you will take your 2.5 by 9 inches and you're going to fold it in half. Okay, again, if you prefer scoring it with the scoreboard, that's perfectly optional. Now here's the thing, my paper is pretty thick, so you see how it kind of cracks. If you like that, that's fine, but if you prefer a more polished edge, then I would use the scoreboard. Okay, so go ahead, you'll be needing 10 of these, so all 4 sheets should give you 10 and then a little extra. So go ahead and do that, and then after you're done with this, this is a trick that I like to use because I like to use this a lot. Put your strip back, but with the open side was going to be where you're going to measure. So you're going to measure a 1/2 inch from the edge where the open is, where it opens, not the open sign, I'm sorry, where it opens like this, you're going to measure 1/2 inch. And so what I do is I will put it at actually I will measure it at 3 3/4, but let me get a piece of tape. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I've gotten a piece of tape here, and I've put it against my clothes like this, and it's a little, you know, some lint will get on it, maybe, oh my god, I'm sorry, cat hairs, but you know, whatever it does, but it acts like a post-it note. So what you're going to do is go ahead and put it on to the side here at the 3/4 mark. Okay, and then I'm pressing it down like this, and then I got that. But I'm going to write on the marker. So instead of cutting it or even scoring it, I'm just going to write it, and I'm going to repeat it to all of the 12 pieces. Okay, now when you do remove it, it doesn't rip the paper, and so that's why you want to put that lint right there. Okay, but go ahead and repeat it to all, and then we'll go ahead and add this to our pages. Okay folks, so now that we have that all set, what we're going to do is get our spine, our pages, and our glue. Okay, now what I want you to do is make sure at the 1/2 inch mark, now the open part is going to go on the inside here, so we're going to add glue to here, to where the open side is at, and we're going to attach it to the edge of our paper up to the line that we just marked. Okay, so let's go ahead and add our glue. Now for this one, if your glue stick is not permanent, I would make sure that you do use permanent glue for this one, or just use the wet glue. Okay, what's going on here? I gotta make a hole on this thing. Now this particular tutorial is just going to be to make the album itself. Then I'm going to have other tutorials that we're going to add the pockets. We're going to create pockets, tags, and then decorate it. And the reason why I like to do it in parts like that, because it doesn't make for a long video. And then also, if you already created your tutorial, or excuse me, your album, then you can go ahead and go to the tutorial that has like what you need. Okay, all right, so now I put that towards the end. Oh, here, don't forget this part too. I completely forgot. This is optional, but I prefer to do it. It kind of just gives it more sturdiness to this, and especially being the spine. Go ahead and add glue to this before you close it up. And then again, I'll double glue it and add glue to this side here. And then I will add the liquid glue to the edge. And you're probably wondering why I do it this way. I prefer that when you glue it down, that it is nice and smooth when you adhere it to the paper. Okay, so here, I'll show you. It just makes it so much easier. And now hold this down like this. Now I did screw up where it's not matching over here, but all right then. And then get your scissors and trim it down like this. And if you choose to, go ahead and ink the edges too, but go ahead and do that to all 12 of your paper. And then next we'll go ahead and add the hole punch, which I've already done to all of my other sheets of paper, and I've already hole punched, but that's what we're going to do next. Okay, so in order for us to make the spine, we are going to, or the template for the holes, go ahead and get from your scrap sheet of paper from making the spines, and the ones that's easier is the one that's already the 9 inches long. And then we are going to measure this here exactly, and I'll show you what I did. And also get yourself some tape. And then what you do, put the tape first on like your skin or on some your clothing, so it could act more like a sticky note instead of taping it down, because the tape it down makes it a lot easier to hold it in place, but it's not going to stick it. Once you pull the tape off, it's not going to stick. And then I will just go ahead and mark it here, so that's exactly, and then I'm going to cut it off, trim that part off because I don't need it, and I do want it to be exactly, I guess you don't need to do this part, but I just prefer to do it exactly. Okay, then after you cut this part, go ahead and remove the tape for now. This will be scrap, and then put that in your scrap pile. And remove the tape. Here, I'll put that on the side. And then next thing that you're going to do is fold it in half the long way. Okay, and then you've got that. And then measure about, well, give or take 1 inch down. Give or take. I already created a template here, so what I did was I folded it in half, then measure about 1 inch, folded it on one side, and then fold it on the other side. And once I've gotten that, I will, you do it on both sides. Well, it's not going to be exactly the same measurements, and that's what you want. That's what's the important part. But so I've got that, and then I'm going to carefully fold this in half. But because this is thicker paper that I'm using, it kind of is a little tricky to put it, but, and if you want to use like copy paper instead of doing this with the paper, with you know, the original spine, you know, the same paper that you used to make your spine, that's another way of doing it. But and here's the reason being is that you are going to, let me get this pencil. You see how when it crosses here, that's your middle, and that's where you want to hole punch it. Okay, so I found the middle of these two sides. So what I do is I fold it in half again, and I make sure that it is in the middle and that the paper's not moving, and then I go ahead and I hole punch it, and that way I have either sides. Now that isn't exact, but you pretty much get the point. I'm going to use the other template But yeah, go ahead and measure the middle there, and then you have that. And then put your tape back on to the here, and just do it here in the middle because it's just easier to be able to hole punch it. And then line it up like so. Okay, now I'm not going to tape this down, but that's what you would do, is line it up like so, and then you would hole punch it. So I'm actually going to use that, since my other hole, the punch that I made was not very much centered, but this is what you use. And then hold it steady, and the paper steady, and then hole punch it. And then go ahead and do that in the middle and punch the hole, and make sure that that's all even, and punch it. And then when you remove it, your paper is not going to get torn because it's not as sticky as the original. Okay, so go ahead and do this to the rest of the paper. We'll work on our front and our back cover. Okay. Okay, folks, so as you can see, I have the front and the back cover already completed. Now, I have absolutely no idea what happened to that footage. I was looking for it, and it just didn't get filmed. So we're going to recreate another one, not with the same papers, with different papers, because I don't have any more of those other papers, but we're going to I'm going to still show you how to create the front and the back cover. So you'll need the 2 chipboard of the 7x9, this 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and this is going to be for your inside lining. Okay, and then you'll also need your sheets for the front and the back cover. We will work on the front cover first, and then I'll show you how to do the repeat on the back. Now, I'm not going to actually be particular about where I want the front cover to be. And you don't need also, I mean, if your front sheet is decorative like mine is, and it's got decoration on all over the place, you can choose. So long as you have 1 inch on the top and the bottom, and also on the side, okay? And we'll cut that. But what I'm going to do first is turn this over, and I'm going to go ahead and put glue. Now, I'll use the double glue. I like to use the glue stick and also the wet glue. So the glue stick will just hold this in place, while the wet glue will secure it for sure. And I'm gonna glue the side here. You do want to glue it down. There's been some projects that I created, like also the composition project, the composition book projects, that I just said glue on the side. You don't have to put glue in the middle, but it is a good thing, because if something, you know, gets stuck or on top of it, it will rip. If you do have the middle part of any of your covers glued down, most likely it won't rip as easily, or just rip a little section, but not too much. Okay, so now I'm going to get my ruler here, and this is what I use as like kind of a guidance. So really no measuring, so long as you've got, I don't know, I thought I needed my trimmer, and I do not. So here, and I will just use this here, and it will rip a little bit. Now this piece I will save it as scrap. This piece will be part of the pocket on the inside, so save that, okay? So now what you want to do is fold over all of your paper, all of the sides, excuse me. Okay, there we go. Some people, when they fold it over, they'll do it like this. I guess it's just habit on my part to do it this way. But anyways, and then you're going to cut it, the corners. And I just prefer to cut it at an angle, but just be careful. Leave about 1/8 of an inch here, just so you cover that corner. See what I did right there? That's what you want to do on all 4 sides. And then I hope everyone is doing well today. Oh, over here, save these as scraps for like little pieces if you want to create like flowers or something, but I'll show you that in the very end, or actually in another video, because this project to create is going to take a few videos, only because I'm going to show you a lot of things to do with this one book, and also to use up your paper pad as well. And where is my other glue? Here you are. But the weather here looks like it's going to rain, so, which we do need the rain, but that's why it looks a little, the filming, I could just not get it to be as sunny or get the lighting a little bit better. It helps to fold over this just a little bit, and I just use my my nails for that, to be honest with you. Fold that over. Okay, so let's see, got this. That way it doesn't stick out on the side. You can trim it if it does stick out. Like this one, I couldn't help it. But then also when you, if you decide to ink the edges to give it that more of a distressed look, that'll help as well. Okay, now we've got that down for now. And then get your 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and on the 11th inch side you're going to fold it so that you have 2 sheets of paper that measures 5.5 by 8.5. Okay, and this one, just go ahead and tear it, because no one's going to see this tear after a while. Save this for your back cover. And what you want to do is keep in mind this. So here's your front cover, okay? And this is right side up, and that's another important thing too. So just keep in mind that the holes are going to be on the left side. So when you flip it over, it is going to be on the right side. Now, what I do for reference is just kind of put little holes like that. You're really not going to see this. I mean, I guess you can't see it now, but I just do that for reference, just to make sure that when I glue this down, that I am gluing this, and I want the holes to be on this paper, not on the pocket, because this is going to be the pocket side, okay? And so I don't want the holes on the pocket. I want the holes, so I'm not going to have the pocket on here. So for the front cover, the lining is going to be on your right side, okay? So let's go ahead and glue that down. And if you haven't already done so, I would love for you to give it my video a thumbs up if you'd like this project, and also consider subscribing to my channel. I'll be having some more videos coming up, especially with this album. I am excited to create this album only because I'm going to be using up a lot of my materials that I have. Okay, now when you go ahead and put this down, go ahead and make sure that the top, bottom, and the side is matching. Don't worry about your the pocket side. We'll work on that later. Now, as you can see, this here is going to be a pocket, but I don't want this to be a pocket for the front cover. I want this paper to be a pocket for the front cover. So with that, I need to create the back cover, and then I'll have that piece. So what I'm going to do is create that back cover, and then I will be right back. Okay. Okay, folks. So as you can see, I have finished the back cover. The back cover will, it will hold, this will be the inside of the back cover, and that would be the back cover. So I put the lining on the side, and then I put the pocket, which was the other side, or which is the front cover. And I like to do it this way because it just helps coordinate the whole thing. So now the next thing that I'm going to do is glue this down. But before I do, as you can see, I made a little notch. And the reason why I did that is when I create any kind of pockets, I like to show people that that this is an actual, this is not just a decorative piece or just a piece of paper that I put down. It's actual, it's supposed to be functional as well. Okay, so that's why I like to create that. Now I have I used my 1 3/4 inch circle punch, but you actually don't need a circle punch. What I would suggest you do is like take the bottom of your bottle and take your pocket, go ahead and pinch it. Don't, I wouldn't fold it completely because you don't want that line, but you just want it to pinch because you want to find the middle, okay? And then once you find the middle, you kind of go like a third of a way in, and then whoops, and then create your circle and then cut it out, okay? That looks a little wonky. Okay, let's try this again. No one's gonna see it, so is that better? That's better. Okay, so I'm gonna cut this out and I'm gonna cut it here. Take my scissors, and it goes to show that you don't need a lot of tools to actually create something. I went a little bit down here, but I'm okay with that. And if you want to ink the edges before you glue this down, you can go ahead and do so. Now I'm going to make sure that before I glue it down that I'm going to give it the same amount of distance on the left side as I did the top and the bottom and the right side. Okay, so then I flip this around and I get my glue and I just put a thin strip. I prefer to use wet glue versus the tape, or what else? There's the tape, because once you put the tape down, it's like permanent. It is down. Now there are some tricks with the tape that if you do prefer to use that strip, that tape, and you do put it down on the side, or you do put it onto your paper, before you put it down, take like a stick, the glue stick, and then just wet it so it gives you a little bit of room before it adheres completely. Okay, so there is my front and there is my back cover. Those are the outside and this is the inside. Okay, folks, so now it's time to make our hole for our front and our back cover. Okay, and for this you will need of course your front and your back cover. You're going to need a sheet of paper because it already has the holes, one of the signature of the pages, as a guide, as a template. And then you'll need some kind of like hole puncher or an awl, or I'm using this Crop-a-Dile here. And then this is completely optional, but I'm going to be adding this, is the eyelets. Now this particular eyelet I've had for years and years and years, and this is from Stampin' Up, so I don't know if they still make this. You're gonna need to find one of the demonstrators in order to get one of these, or you can try on eBay or Poshmark or anywhere else. I'm going to see on Amazon if there is something similar to this, and then if there is, I will have that link down below in the description box. Okay, so first things first, let's go ahead and work on our front cover. So here's our front cover, and I'm going to put this template here on the underneath the front cover, and I'm going to match it towards the edge here. I'm going to match it on the left and the right side, making sure it has the same distance. And then I'm going to make sure that it stays somewhat on the edge, like kind of like on the inside edge. Okay, now if you want to match it to the pocket that you just created, that's another option right there. You'll have more room on this side. I'm actually going to match it this way. Okay, so once I get that, I will make my circles here. Okay, is this a little bit, no, it looked like it was a little bit off, and I don't want that to be a little off. I'm trying to match it to the edge over here. I can see that it is off a little bit here, but we can always remedy that later on. Let's go ahead and erase that. Oops, don't mean to shake the table, but let's make sure we get this right. Okay, so I'm going to match it to here again, and when I'm happy with that, I will make these circles, okay? Now, these circles are going to be big enough that even if it's not matched exactly to the T, it's fine. There's a lot of wiggle room when it comes to this, so this is fine. And then what I will do next, so here is my front, and then here is my back. Oh, and that was upside down, so it's not going to matter the hole right there, but it probably, yeah, it would have mattered if it was upside down because I would have made it in the wrong place. So here is, I'm going to match this up, but I need it to be like this. So the pockets, I guess the best reference is making sure the pockets are on the same side. Okay. And then what I'll do, let's get the clip also, and I can, okay, got the clip here, got the clip here. And I'm going to be using the 3/16 hole on my Crop-a-Dile. I won't be able to go all the way. My chipboard is a little bit too thick, so that's not going to work. So I will then just do it one at a time and match that hole. Okay. Try that again. Another good thing to have on hand is that if the paper that I just cut, like this little piece right here, gets stuck, I have, like, now that I'm saying something, I have it. So what I do is I just get one of my, this little handy piece here, this, I guess, little expensive tool. Just open up a giant jumbo clip and then open it up like this. Now, I'm not going to throw this away. This is, I've been using this for a while now, so yes, that'll do. Okay, so now that I've got that, I'm going to get my pencil and I'm going to make a hole again, or mark where the hole goes, and then just make that hole. But what's great is I can see it through this, so I know exactly. And yeah, oh, come on. Come on. Well, and a good thing to remember too is don't put your tools away until you're absolutely done with your project. Because every time I have a habit of putting my tools away, then I need it again, and I gotta go back and find it. So, and also keep in mind that when you do put your brads down, or excuse me, your eyelets down, that it doesn't overlap on the side like that. I've come really close to the other ones too, so yeah, but just to make sure it doesn't overlap on the side. This, push it through a little bit, but at least it'll hold in place. Okay. Come on, come on. There we go. And as you can see, yeah, I did have to refilm this part of the footage, and so my nails are even a different color. Okay, we'll put you there. Oh, no, we'll need you here. Okay, so then what you do is on your Crop-a-Dile, you're going to set your settings to A1, okay? And then make sure that the little thing that pokes out, the little stick thing, goes in here, goes on the top. Oops, wrong. Okay, on the top, and then squeeze it good and give it some love. This is a thick one here. Oops. Yeah, good, good, good. I'm happy. I'm happy with this one. Okay, yeah, that went through good, great. Okay, so now it's time to do this. Just didn't know where she was at, what she was doing. Okay, folks, so there is my front cover and my back cover right here, and this is where, whoops, oh, and that was upside down, but everything is right side up. Okay, perfect, perfect. Okay, I didn't screw that part up. Yes, there we go. Okay, perfect. All right, folks, so now our album is finished. I went ahead and I added the rings to all of them. This is our front cover. I'll do a quick flip through here. This is the page 1, and here's page 2, but a little spoiler alert, this is what we're going to be working on the next project. This is the side tucks and tags that we'll create, and then just easy peasy, there we go. Lots to fill here, but I'm actually liking the way this is turning out. You can see that some of them, and I mentioned it before in the beginning of the video, you'll see some tape over here, but the tape, we're gonna hide it later. I just made a mistake on my measurements and I end up cutting it incorrectly, but I didn't want to not use that paper, so we'll hide that later on, okay? There you go. There's the back cover. Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining me, folks. And again, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. It really helps out my channel. And consider subscribing to my channel as well. We're going to be working on lots and lots of tutorials coming up. Okay. Y'all have a great day.